Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to our channel. We bring you an updated content concerning the trending issues about disbursement and the issues currently that is going on within the ground ecosystem with UAG, with Honorable Faruk, with Apostle Ken Wakama, and the likes. Pay attention to this. It could be a soul-lifting message for you. Thank you.
Therefore, the current voice note of Mr. Faruk and Anil Poli and the likes, Chief Agogun, for the past few days ago till today is actually calling for concern, is not healthy for the grant ecosystem. Few questions I will ask the likes of Chief Agogun and Honorable Faruk as he continually releases suicidal voice notes that are already sending people into untimely graves or causing a lot of grant subscribers and NGOs hypertension at the moment. But the first fact I have to establish before we continue is a question: is there grant to be disbursed? The answer is yes. There is grant to be disbursed. And when is this grant going to be disbursed? We are going to celebrate this Christmas with disbursement. In case you are experiencing anxiety or depression as you hear the voice notes of Faruk and the likes, get it clear that disbursement is going to take place before this 2024 Christmas. We will celebrate this Christmas and the New Year with alert from disbursement in our bank accounts. Don't disturb yourself, don't trouble yourself in those voice notes. Now let's try to prove fact on this circulating voice notes. Why is Faruk saying there is no money to be disbursed anywhere? Faruk at a certain time, immediately after the UAAG screening and verification exercise, disappeared from the grant ecosystem activities. And part of the reason why he disappeared was because the sources that they were seeking the truth behind the documents on how to secure documents for this grant told them at that time that there is no document to disburse any grant. And why were they even using Faruk? Looking at him, he's not actually an influential figure physically to rely on. One particular question everyone is asking is, who is this Faruk Dengi? Honorable Faruk is from Katsina State, the same state like the immediate past president of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. And because he's from Katsina, during President Muhammadu Buhari's regime, he was privileged to have access to influential personalities in the country, in the villa in Aso Rock, as you know. And these personalities is what he's enjoying their influences, utilizing this influence to gain access to portals of power at the time. And as the last moment that Faruk finally disappeared is at the point where they seek information about the existence of documents to disburse grants alongside the company of some UAAG partners, UAAG officials, AGPGN partners or AGPGN members. That authority at that time told them they don't have any idea of a document or a grant to be disbursed. But this other set of AGPGN members proceeded to dig deeper, because it can't be a coincidence that at the time Telpacon was out to disburse this same grant, Theobald Global Foundation was out to disburse this same grant, SEM was about to disburse this same grant, UAAG was equally out to disburse this same grant. It stands to reason that there is an existence of grants before people opt out to disburse it. These names we mentioned, we know them in the grant ecosystem. They are still alive, and those that are close to these names can attest to the fact that they have deeper information on the existence of a grant. What actually brought about the name UAAs in the grant ecosystem? The same grant in question. Therefore, other factions of the AGPGN decided to dig deeper to discover the fact. And this particular scenario playing out in the grant ecosystem is likened to exactly the scenario that played out in Numbers 13 verse 27 to 35, where Moses detailed 12 spies to go and check if Canaan or the promised land is available to be seized by them as was promised by God. And what happened? When the spies returned, 10 of them told Moses, yes, we have actually been to this promised land. Truly, the land is filled with milk and honey. Adequate fruit are everywhere. Fruits are everywhere. They presented a bunch of fruit where one man cannot carry except two heavy or strong men. But 10 out of the 12 spies told Moses, we saw the Hittites at the mountaintop, the Jebusite, the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Anak. They are very strong men. Some of the 10 spies said, we saw the Amalekites. They are men that are very huge and strong, and we look like grasshoppers in their eyes. Some of the 10 spies said the descendants from Anak are Nephilims. Nephilims were one of the most strongest humans on earth at the beginning of creation. They were actually angels that transformed themselves to humans because they fell in love with beautiful ladies on earth and had carnal knowledge with these beautiful ladies, bearing kids, the kids that later grow to become as strongest as their parents or the descendant angels. So some of the 10 spies actually told Moses that we look like grasshoppers in their eyes. As such, the cities being heavily fortified alongside with the strongest tribes existing makes it impossible for us to seize the land that God promised to us. But only 2 out of the 12 spies told Moses, let's go and take the possession of the land that God promised us. With our trust in God, we will take the land that God promised to us and our forefathers. Joshua and Caleb made this pronouncement. And this is the same report that Moses, later Joshua, acted on to be able to occupy the same land that 10 people, the majority in the spies, said it's impossible for them to occupy. Honorable Faruk can be classified among the 10 spies that transmitted the reports of negativity, of depression, of impossibility, whereas there is no impossibility with God. Whereas the remaining audience of grant stakeholders that are still assuring you of disbursement are the 2 Caleb and Joshua in the grant ecosystem, transmitting the news of breakthrough and emancipation of the masses. Where should you rely on? Who should you build around at this moment in grant history? The line is already drawn. The decision is yours. You have to choose who you should listen to. You have to choose who you should build your thoughts around. The group, the voice note you should take importance at this moment. It's not every voice note that is a voice note to be listened to. It's not everyone that makes voice note that should be taken serious at this moment in grant history. Those that knows the truth knows that an activity is actually ongoing at this moment to usher in disbursement. That is why when I see some people criticizing or even insulting Pastor Felix of AGPGN, they don't know that they are insulting their Caleb in the grant ecosystem. When I see some people insulting Comrade Abdul, they don't know they are insulting their Joshua in the grant ecosystem. The Pastor John, the entire AGPGN family that people are criticizing, blaspheming, or insulting at the moment, they don't know they are insulting the forerunners and the messiahs of disbursement. They are Joshua and Caleb that will see them to the promised land. If God promised Nigerians disbursement, whose authority else is there to stop it from happening? The same grant that people saw visions and revelations as Nigerians is going to be liberated with a wholesome amount of money that is coming in. Suddenly, people are tuning their attention to few tiny dots in circles, few minorities that believe there is no grant because people told them there is no grant to be disbursed. 2 questions for Faruk. Who in the governmental portals, who in authority told you strongly with documents, with backup evidence that there is no grant to be disbursed? Mention the name. Who in CBN, who in the villa actually told you, Mr. Faruk, that there is no money to be disbursed to Nigerians? You can't make baseless proofs and people start following you. You can't make baseless statements and be sending people to hospital. Few days ago, immediately after an NGO CEO watched your video with Chief Agogun in that hotel, she slumped and was rushed to the hospital. How many people out there are currently hypertensive or thinking of committing suicide because of your voice note and your video with Chief Agogun? And Chief Agogun, you should understand the position of a leader. A leader is accorded influence, an influence that is capable of influencing people around them to success, an influence that is equally capable of influencing people to untimely grave. Choose what sort of information you are sending out as a leader. If you don't have adequate facts, if you don't have adequate proof to back up your facts, don't make such a statement. As a chief in my community, chief doesn't make unguarded statements. Chiefs doesn't take sides. Chief doesn't accept bribe. Chiefs are people that understand the concept of information management. They understand the effect every negative information holds. What do you gain in causing frustration, depression, discouragement at this moment in the grant ecosystem? If you can't encourage people, don't discourage them. If you can't communicate messages of motivation, don't demotivate them. Allow people to focus on the future. Allow people to focus on realities. And what is the reality at this moment? Every grant subscriber in this ecosystem should understand that the activities of disbursement of a grant with such high propensity cannot simply be appropriated and achieved in just 1 or 2 months. After the whole illusion, after the whole deceit, eventually they discover the truth, the document and the grant. And these grant handlers have to restart the entire processes that will lead to disbursement. But thank God the processes is at the climatic state. We are already at the weather of disbursement. The grant subscribers, the NGO CEOs, are now seizing this moment to send a distress message to Mr. Faruk to desist from causing depression and suicidal thoughts or sending people to untimely grave henceforth. Nobody wants to hear such negative, misleading and baseless voice notes anymore. Like one of the voice notes which he said Apostle Ambassador Ken sold his cars and his land to give the money to Hajia. Can Mr. Faruk tender the proof of payment from Apostle Ken made to Hajia's account? If you believe there is no grant anywhere to be disbursed, tell us the name of the authority that told you there is no grant. Is it Hajia that told you? Bring the conversation that Hajia told you there is no grant to be disbursed. Bring the Snapchat that you communicated with an authority. You have been able to prove a Snapchat between you and Apostle Ken meeting at a certain place in Gwarimpa. Equally bring proof of chats and communications that someone in authority told you there is no grant. So the masses can equally believe you wholeheartedly and stand with you to fight people that are deceiving the masses. We can't start fighting with you. We can't start supporting you when you don't have proofs. The masses are not fools. We need proofs. Don't believe anyone that doesn't have facts or proof, that doesn't point hands to an authority that is supporting or confirming the fact he is metering out to the masses. Everyone who alleges should be able to prove with adequate weight of evidence. If you are new to our channel or haven't subscribed before, kindly subscribe. Activate the notification bell, hence when we publish our next content, you will be immediately notified. Julivia TV will be out again in few days ahead to give you updates of the activities that are going to bring about disbursement. Actually, at this moment, what we should be thinking, what we should be occupying ourselves with is, what are the entitlements of beneficiaries? Grant is already here. Those that are close to authorities are aware that the processes of disbursement has already been concluded. We are here commemorating the disbursement to take place before November ending or even before Christmas. Bye.